morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions. Thank you again so much for our time together. I want us to go back today to the book of 1 Samuel chapter 10 and talk to you about how, as you embrace your destiny, things in your life begin to change. We find the story beginning with verse 9 of chapter 10 regarding King Saul. As Saul turned to leave Samuel, this is after Samuel had told him that it was God's plan for him to be the next king of Israel. As Saul turned to leave Samuel, God changed Saul's heart, and all the signs were fulfilled that day. I want you to see the first principle. When you embrace your destiny, when you go, okay, I will embrace this destiny, all of a sudden God changes your heart. Desires change, attitudes change, focus change, dreams change. Everything in your inner being that defines who you are changes on that day. I remember the day that God called me to the ministry, walking across the courtyard praying early one morning in a little university town called Troy, Alabama. And as I walked across the quadrangle that day praying early in the morning before others were up, God began to speak to me about the ministry. Now you're looking at a young man who was determined in his life to retire at the age of 30 to the Blue Ridge Mountains, my memory serves me correctly, in Georgia. I wanted to be a millionaire and retire by the time I was 30. All I thought about was accounting, finance, and all this kind of stuff. But when God called me and I said, yes, Lord, I embraced that call, He changed my heart. And all I wanted to do from that moment forward was study the Bible and share the good news of Jesus. But it goes on. As you embrace your destiny, sometimes you have some questions, and when people start talking to you about it, you hide from it. If you look in verse 22, you'll see that when it was time for it to be announced to everybody, this Saul, who was head and shoulders above everybody else, was hiding among the livestock, and they had to go and fetch him. But I want you to notice two other things here. I want you to know that as you embrace your destiny, God will join people's hearts to you. In verse 26 it said, Saul also went to his home in Gibeah, accompanied by valiant men whose hearts God has touched. One of the challenges I face with young pastors today is that when God begins to tell you your destiny and you begin to reach out and do it, you forget that your destiny involves leading people into a goal. And so you think that you have to cast vision. I call it vision casting, where you have to convince everybody of a vision. No. God will touch people's hearts to join you so that you can fulfill the vision, the destiny. And everything that God calls us to when it comes to our destiny is not about building ourselves. That's the world. It's about bringing the people into their goals. Just like Moses, you're going to bring the people into the promised land. It's not about building ourselves and our ministries. It's about bringing the people of God into their goals and that God has for them. And God will join people's hearts to you. But don't always think that, having your destiny is going to make you popular. Notice there, it continues in verse 27, but there were some troublemakers who said, how can this fellow save us? And they despised him and brought him no gifts. Now that's a beautiful truth. Your destiny, when you begin to embrace it, is going to separate people around you. There are going to be people that God touches their hearts and joins them to you. And really, those people stay with you for a lifetime. And there are going to be people who are troublemakers and despise you. And forgive me, they will also probably be your enemies for a lifetime. But I like what later on happens when they have a great victory. People want to kill these troublemakers. But Saul was magnanimous in victory. Don't ever hurt the people that hate you. Best thing you can do for them is ignore them.